Let's sit in a comfortable meditation posture and close the eyes. Put the attention on the silence that is always there deep in the mind. This is your connection to who you really are. You are this deep inner silence. You are the silent witness. Become the silent witness. And listen to the words of the Yoga Vasishtha. Book 4, Chapter 58. The Song of Kacha. Vasishtha said, regarding this subject, Ram, I will tell you the holy song, sung of old, by Kacha, the son of Brihaspati, the teacher of the gods. This son of the divine tutor lived in a grove in some part of mountain Meru, where by means of his holy meditation, he found the tranquility of his spirit in the silent witness, the Supreme Soul. His mind being filled with the ambrosial nectar of divine knowledge, he derived no satisfaction at the sight of the visible world composed of the 5 elements. Being wrapped in his mind with the vision of the Holy Spirit, the silent witness, he saw nothing else beside him. Then he fervently uttered to himself the following joyful song. What is there for me to do? To refuse, to receive or reject? And what place is there for me to go or refrain from going? When this whole world is filled by divine spirit, like the water of the great deluge. I find pleasure and pain inherent in the soul, and the sky and all its sides contained in the magnitude of the soul. Thus, knowing all things to be full of the Holy Spirit, I forgive and sink all my pains in my spirit. The silent witness is inside and outside of all bodies. It is above and below and on all sides of all. Here, there, and everywhere is the same spirit. There is no place where it is not. The silent witness abides everywhere, and all things abide in the silent witness. All things are the same with the silent witness. And I am situated in the same silent. There is nothing intelligent or unconscious which is not the silent witness. All is the silent witness, and so am I also. The silent witness fills the whole space and is situated in every place. I am full of that silent witness and its indescribable bliss as the all-encompassing water of the great deluge. This is how Kacha was thinking in the dwelling of the Golden Mountain. He uttered this sound all, and it rang on all sides like the ringing of a bell. First, he uttered the vowel O, and then the nasal, which stops it like a tuft of hair. He remained meditating on the silent witness in his mind, and not as situated in or without. Ram thus did Kacha continue to think in himself and chant his holy hymn, being freed from the foulness of flesh and rarefied in his spirit, like the breath of the wind. His soul was as clear as the sky in autumn, after the dark clouds of the rainy season are dispersed. This is a very revealing and interesting chapter. Vashishta is taking us through the beginning stages of identifying with the silent witness. This is what Kacha is doing. He is finding himself immersed in the great, deep inner silence. But he is at only the beginning. He is touching only the tip of the eternal, infinite silence of the silent witness. We know this because his mind continues to function. When one is fully immersed in the silent witness, there is no mind. There is no mind to be filled with the ambrosial nectar of divine knowledge. There is no mind to be wrapped in the vision of the silent witness. So we know from this reading that Katya is at the beginning of the incredible awakening, the beginning of self-realization. So this is very common experience. That we can all relate to. When we first connect with the silent witness, the mind continues to operate. The mind continues to compare and judge and say, this is the silent witness, that is the illusion. The mind continues to make the evaluation. All is the silent witness. That's okay. That is just the beginning. Also, we know that we're at the beginning because Katya is continuing his sadhana. He's continuing his meditation on the sacred pranava, the mantra Om. So it's delightful to see this preliminary experience of the silent witness as explained by Vasishta. Chapter 59, how Brahma creates and sustains. Vasishta continued. There is nothing in this world except the gratification of carnal desires and the pleasure of eating, drinking, and lust with the vulgar. But the good and great desire, the lasting good of men, crooked and creeping beings and things, beasts and wicked men, and ignorant people, are gratified only with carnal pleasures. Why is this? Because these beings are completely embedded in their karmic traces. That's all they know. They know nothing of the silent witness. They are all fond of everything that is conducive to their bodily enjoyments. They are human asses who dote on the beauty of female bodies, which is no better than lumps of flesh, blood, and bones. This may be desirable to dogs and devouring animals, but not to man. All animals have fleshy bodies, just as trees have trunks of wood and minerals in their forms of earth. There is the earth below and the sky above, and nothing that is extraordinary before us. The senses pursue sensible objects, but human reason finds no delight in them. Men's consciousness only leads them to error. True happiness, which is desired by all, is situated beyond all sensible objects and gratifications. The result of worldly pleasures is sorrow and misery, just as the product of a flame is soot and blackness. The functions of the mind and senses are all fleeting and have their rise and fall by turns. All enjoyments are short-lived, owing to the fleeting nature of objects and the decay of our powers of enjoyment. Prosperity fades away like a plant encircled by a poisonous snake. Our consorts die away as soon as anything born of blood and flesh. The delusion of love and lust makes one body embrace another. Both of which are composed of impure flesh and blood. Such are the acts, O Ram, that delight the ignorant. Wise men take no delight in this unreal and unstable world, which is more poisonous than poison itself, and is able to infect even those who have not tasted the bitter affliction of grief. Because the thought of your materiality has taken possession of your mind and forsake your desire of enjoyment and seek to be united with your spiritual essence. Whenever the thought of making the unreal world arises in the mind of Brahma, the Creator, he takes an unreal body upon himself of his own will. It becomes as bright as gold by its own light. When he is called Virinchi on account of his will. And he is also called Brahma because he is born of Brahma. Ram asked, how does the world become a solid substance from having been a visionary form in the spirit or mind of God? Vasishtha replied, when the lotus-born Brahma rose from his cradle of the embryo of Brahma, he uttered the name of Brahman which is why he was called Brahma. He then had the conception of the world in his own imagination. And that conception assumed a visible and solid form by the power of his will. It is called the conceptual or ideal world. At first, he conceived a luminous idea of light, which, having assumed a visible form, spread on all sides like a creeping plant in autumn is stretched all about. The rays of this light pierced all sides like threads of gold. They shone and spread themselves on both above and below. Concealed in this light, the lotus-born cosmic egg, Hiranyagarbha, conceived in his mind a figure like his luminous form and produced it as the four-faced Brahma. Then the sun sprung forth from that light and shone like a globe of gold amidst the world encircling beams. He held the locks of his flaming hair on his head, which flashed like fire all around him and filled the sphere of heaven with heat and light. Afterwards, the most intelligent Brahma produced some other luminous forms, the Marichis, from portions of that light, which proceeded from it like waves of the ocean. These most potent and competent beings were possessed of their own concepts and will. And in a moment, they produced figures as they thought of and willed. They conceived the forms of various other beings, which they produced, one after the other as they desired and willed. Now, this is a very interesting detail on how the universe was created. Apparently, the Creator produced first some other luminous forms called the Marichis. And the Marichis, these are dream creatures in the mind of the Creator. These dream creatures created more beings. So this is interesting detail on how the universe arose in the mind of the Creator. Now continuing, established as the silent witness, begin the Trimana Sanyama process on the esoteric Mahamantra. And melt all karmic traces that have been enlivened and touched on during today's reading. Take her down.